She pointed a gun right at my chest and screamed, "Get on the ground. You're trespassing." Her voice shook the quiet street, and neighbors peeked out from their blinds. I froze. Not because I was scared, but because I couldn't believe what I was seeing. A woman in yoga pants, holding a gun like she was in charge. Claiming to be HOA security. "This land isn't yours. I run this neighborhood now," she spat. Waving a fake badge that looked like it came out of a dollar store. I raised my hand slowly, calm on the outside but boiling inside. "This is my property," I said, steady. "You don't have the right." "Shut up." She cut me off, eyes wide, finger twitching on the trigger. "I'll call backup. My officers are on their way." That made me almost laugh. Backup? From who? The so-called HOA cops she kept bragging about. The truth was, she had no idea who she was messing with. I wasn't some helpless guy she could bully. I wasn't just a young black man she thought she could scare off. I was special forces. And unlike her, I didn't need to flash a fake badge to prove authority. But I didn't move yet. I let her think she had control. Neighbors whispered from behind fences. Phones already recording, curiosity mixing with fear. She had no clue every second was being captured. Then her phone rang. She smirked and shouted loud enough for everyone to hear, "He's resisting. Bring the truck, we're towing his car and locking his house." My jaw clenched. She wasn't just threatening me. She was going after my home, my freedom, everything I fought to protect. She had crossed a line. What she didn't know was that her little officers were about to walk right into the hands of someone who knew every move before they made it. And when the real truth came out, this fake cop was going to wish she never pulled that trigger. 2 black SUVs pulled up fast, tires screeching against the pavement. 3 men in tactical vests jumped out, pretending like they were federal agents. One of them even yelled, "Step away from the property, sir. You're under arrest by order of the HOA." The neighbors gasped, some even believing it. They had badges clipped to their belts, radios on their shoulders, and handcuffs swinging from their gear. To anyone else, it looked official. To me, it looked sloppy. Their weapons were cheap replicas, their movements untrained. They were actors in a role they didn't understand. But one mistake with a trigger finger, and it could get deadly. Karen grinned like she had just summoned the cavalry. "See? You're finished," she said, puffing her chest out. "This neighborhood belongs to me. People like you don't get to live here." Her words cut deeper than the gun aimed at me. I stayed still, my mind working fast. If I fought back now, I'd be painted as the aggressor. That's exactly what she wanted. So I let one of the fake officers step closer, his hand reaching for my arm. His grip was weak, hesitant. He didn't know who he was touching. I leaned in just enough for him to hear me. "Careful," I whispered. "You just put your hands on the wrong man." He stiffened, pulling back for a second, but Karen barked, "Cuff him already." The crowd behind us grew, phones up, whispers spreading like wildfire. I let them click one cuff around my wrist. My neighbors thought I was trapped. Karen thought she had won. But deep inside, I knew the moment to flip this whole scene was seconds away. Because what nobody here realized, not even Karen, was that the second cuff would never lock. Hidden under my sleeve was military-grade steel, a bracelet I never took off. And it wasn't just decoration. It was the key to turning this fake arrest into the biggest mistake of their lives. The second cuff clicked, or at least it tried to. The fake officer struggled, twisting the metal against my wrist, but it wouldn't lock. His eyes darted nervously, confusion breaking through his tough act. Karen didn't notice, she was too busy grandstanding in front of the neighbors. "See everyone!" she shouted, raising her phone to record me. This criminal thought he could just take over our community. But not on my watch. Not while I'm in charge. The crowd shifted uncomfortably. Some of them whispered, "He lives here. I've seen him before." But nobody dared to step in. Not yet. I looked straight into Karen's camera lens, calm as ever. "Careful what you record," I said, my voice low but carrying. The truth has a way of playing back. Her smile faltered, but she quickly covered it up. Shut him up, she snapped at the men. That was her mistake. The officer closest to me tugged hard on the cuff. I let my body move with him, pretending to stumble forward, then shifted my weight fast. In one motion, his fake badge was in my hand, and his radio was ripped clean off his vest. I tossed them onto the grass for everyone to see. Cheap plastic, toy-level gear. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Karen froze, color draining from her face. Pick that up, she screamed. Don't let them see. Too late. Neighbors stepped closer now, their phones zooming in on the fake gear. Whispers turning into outrage. I turned my eyes back to the men. You want to keep playing cop? I asked, my voice dropping into the deep tone I hadn't used since deployment. Then answer me this. Which branch issued your clearance? Silence. They didn't even know how to respond. And that's when Karen realized she wasn't just dealing with a homeowner. She was staring at a man who had led real soldiers into real combat. And the show she was putting on was about to collapse in front of the whole neighborhood. Karen's lips trembled, but her pride wouldn't let her back down. She shoved her phone into one of the men's hands and barked, "Keep filming. He's threatening us. This is going straight to the real police." The fake officer looked uneasy, but he raised the phone anyway. I didn't flinch. Instead, I reached slowly into my back pocket. Karen's finger tightened on the trigger, and half the crowd gasped. "Don't even try it," she shrieked. I pulled out a leather wallet, worn, scarred from years of dust and heat. I flipped it open with one hand. Inside wasn't a driver's license. It was my military ID, Special Forces insignia staring her dead in the face. "You wanted the real cops," I said, voice steady, louder now for everyone to hear. "Funny. Because the sheriff is already on his way. He works with me." The crowd erupted in whispers. Cameras zoomed closer. The fake officer holding the phone actually lowered it, eyes wide. "Wait, you're military?" he stammered. Karen tried to laugh, but it came out cracked and hollow. "That doesn't mean anything. He's lying. He forged it." She pointed wildly at me, desperate. "You all saw it, he attacked my officer." I stepped closer, slow and deliberate. She backed up, finger twitching on the trigger again. But this time she was the one shaking. "You put a gun on me," I said quietly. "On my land. You brought criminals into this neighborhood and called them police. And now." I paused, letting the weight of silence press on everyone. "Every camera here has the proof." One of the neighbors shouted, "She's the criminal." Another chimed in, "We're calling the real police right now." Karen's face turned pale. Her grip on the gun loosened. For the first time, she looked like she realized this wasn't her stage anymore. And just then, the sound of real sirens wailed from down the street. The sirens grew louder, until 2 county sheriff cruisers screeched to a stop in front of my driveway. The red and blue lights washed over the fake officers, who suddenly looked like kids caught stealing candy. Real deputies jumped out, hands on their holsters, shouting commands. "Drop the weapons. Hands where we can see them." Karen panicked. She spun toward the deputies, waving her fake badge. "Finally. Arrest him. He's dangerous, he attacked me and my officers." The sheriff, a broad man with years of authority in his voice, didn't even blink. He knew me. His eyes went straight to my military ID still in my hand. "Stand down, soldier," he said calmly. "We've got this." Karen laughed nervously. "Soldier? He's lying. He doesn't even live here. This whole house, this whole property, it's mine now." I put the eviction notice on his door. The sheriff raised an eyebrow. "Funny thing. We ran the deed records on the way here." He pulled out a folder from under his arm and flipped it open. "This land, this house, all of it's his. And has been for years." The crowd cheered. Phones caught every second. Karen's face collapsed as the deputies moved in on her fake officers. ripping off their plastic badges and tossing their toy radios to the ground. One deputy turned to her. "You're under arrest. Charges include trespassing, impersonating law enforcement, and unlawful use of a firearm." Karen screamed, twisting and fighting. But they had her in cuffs before she could blink. Her voice echoed through the neighborhood as she shrieked, "This isn't over. You'll regret this." I stepped forward, calm, standing taller than I had all night. "I fought for this country," I said, my voice carrying across the crowd. "So no one could tell me I don't belong on my own land." The sheriff gave me a firm nod. "Good to have men like you back home." As Karen was shoved into the cruiser, the neighbors erupted, some clapping, some chanting, some just shaking their heads at the madness. For the first time in weeks, the street felt like ours again. I looked at my house, the place I nearly lost to a fake badge and a bitter heart, and felt a surge of pride. Justice had been served. My family was safe. And everyone watching learned one thing tonight: freedom isn't something you fake. It's something you fight for.